Howdy folks, welcome back to Draft and Drive. My name is Josh, I'm here with my sister Alexia. Fresh off the weekend at Richmond Raceway, only cup to talk about, and I didn't even watch 90% of the race, so go ahead, start us off.
So, taking us back, my pick was Denny Hamlin for the race, Joshua's pick was Austin Dillon, who had won the last two. On pole was Ryan Blaney, that was his second pole in a row. Lap 30 green flag pit stop start, and Ty Gibbs gets a speeding penalty. Stage 1 winner was Ryan Blaney. Lap 25 there was a caution for Zane Smith spinning. The Stage 2 winner was Joey Logano. Lap 284, Carson Hocevar stalls on the track. A few drivers take a 2 pit stop strategy. The notables are Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. The rest are on a 3 stop strategy. Well, the 3 stop strategy was the way to go, and Joey Logano ended up winning the race, his second of the season. My pick again was Denny Hamlin, who got 4th. Your pick, Austin Dillon, really wasn't a factor much, and he got 19th.
Never trust Austin Dillon. Never. I almost picked him the first year. Got burned because he won. Picked him the second year. I was like, hell yeah, redemption. I was like, he's got to be surefire this year. 19th.
Well, I'll jump ahead a little bit, but he was my bad surprise of the race, because I said the last 2 races he'd won, and then last night he was nowhere to be found. He was mentioned a good amount on the pre-race broadcast, but then during the race he wasn't mentioned at all, and I mean for good reason. He just was not a factor. He didn't really sniff the top 10 all night. He was right around that 20th spot, I felt like, literally all night long at Richmond.
Yeah, and especially after last week where he was running well, I was like, oh, here we go, we're gearing up, and then 19th.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty horrible. So it means you get to pick forced for New Hampshire.
So I'm going to go Christopher Bell. He's obviously had 7 second place finishes this year, but still hasn't got the dub. He is really good at New Hampshire, and I think he'll finally get that first one next weekend at New Hampshire. Back to Sunday racing. We most likely will have the podcast on Sunday, just an FYI. But, yep, one of the closest races to us. What are we going to be doing? Watching it from the couch. Why are we not going? I don't know.
My race pick will be, and I have noticed a trend recently, is that I've been going with the hot hand. I'm going with Joey Logano. He's looking in championship form, even year, some would say. Happy with that. Ford's very good at flat tracks, short tracks. I expect him to be good again. And, we'll see. I guess I'll jump on my good surprise. And this is maybe not much of a surprise, but Chase Briscoe. Every single thing you looked at for Richmond, pre-race kind of things, everyone's like, this is his worst racetrack, don't ever pick him, he's horrible. Didn't pick him, he finished second place. Thanks a lot, everyone. But if it being his worst track, almost won the thing, which is very impressive. Also, Austin Cindric mentioned, had a good race allegedly. I didn't watch most of it, of course, can't watch the good races, but especially after last week where he's basically racing Cody Ware.
No Austin Cindric gear on. He gets his best finish of the year, I think. And no hat, no shirt, question mark?
Yeah, it just wasn't in the cards. I already had my clothes out, so...
Can't change once the clothes are put out.
No, but he desperately needed a good run. Has a very good buffer now to the cutoff, and it'd be really, really nice if he could clinch his way in next week at New Hampshire. Also, Larson.
I would say, I don't know if he can clinch. It would be close. He might have to win to clinch, but...
I think he needs 15 points on the cut line. He has 55. I think the max you can get is 70 or something like that. Also, Larson, after his disaster month or two, a good, solid run.
So mine, good surprise. Just kind of overall, Joey Logano making a late run to secure himself in the chase. I mean, he was, I think they said 6 weeks ago, 20th in points, and now he's up to 9th. Josh Berry got 8th place, someone looking for a ride, trying to prove themselves, and, well, he's done it the last couple weeks. I think he's had 3 weeks of really good finishes. And then just kind of a quick shout-out, you already mentioned Kyle Larson, but all 400 cars finished in the top 10. They've kind of been, highlighted for not performing at their usual, they're just not great. They're okay. Some races they're good, but they're not great. So for all 400 cars to finish in the top 10, that's a really great day for them. I think Chase Elliott got 5th, Larson 6th, Byron 9th, and Bowman 10th. So I don't know. I think they'll take it, and especially Larson after starting 30th. And you kind of said he was struggling all day, and to find his way to finishing 6th. And then we'll give a quick shout out. That's why we put the Larson car out, is that he left the racetrack. Cliff Daniels came up with a plan for him, and he ran out of his car, probably grabbed his stuff, hopped on a plane, went to the Knoxville Nationals, and ended up winning that. So, big night for Kyle Larson.
Yeah, GG. Pretty impressive.
And then my bad surprise, I did say Austin Dillon already, but the only other person on there I had was Chris Buescher. You just didn't hear his name all day long. He's just been really quiet lately, and you don't want to be quiet going into the chase. You know, you want to get some momentum going into it, and he really, I think, needs to kind of pick it up at New Hampshire and Daytona.
Yeah, he's been pretty terrible as of late. I also had AJ Allmendinger. After last week, he looked strong again, like Austin Dillon, and I had him on my team. Thank God on the bench spot. Never change it because he was horrible. 33rd. One of the worst I've ever seen him. Also, I had Ryan Blaney. 13th, but expect better from him. Especially on pole, winning the first stage, but just was not...
I think someone said that they might have run out of tires, so I don't know if they took an alternate call or something. Like I said, some people were on the 2-stop strategy, some people were on the 3-stop, and for some reason I think he was out of tires, so he faded really late because tires really mattered at Richmond. So before we went into off-track news, I just kind of I have it listed on here, standings chatter. So locked in was Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, and Christopher Bell. So now at 8th, this is where people aren't locked in, but they're really close, and that's Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, Carson Hocevar, and William Byron. Honestly, all of those I would say are safely locked in, and even the next person, Daniel Suarez, is 101 points to the cutoff line, but if he just hasn't been going great recently, he's just been kind of average, and then Daytona, I just always kind of think, just always expecting you could get last, because you just never know.
Yeah.
So Daniel Suarez right now is 101 points to the cutoff line, then it's Bubba Wallace, who I told you I'm still worried about, is 70 points to the cutoff line. Austin Cindric, good day for him yesterday. He's 57 points to the cutoff line, but he's generally pretty good at New Hampshire. And he usually gets stage points probably at Daytona. And then Shane Van Gisbergen now is the guy on 16th place. He's on the chopping block. He is, though, kind of a comfortable lead with 50 points to the cutoff line. And so, then outside looking in, Ryan Preece, 50 points out. Ross Chastain, 63 points out. Keselowski, 78 points out. And Eric Jones, 81 points out. Is there any movement, do you think, in the next 2 races?
I would say... Thank you. I would say Ryan Preece probably has the best chance because New Hampshire, short track, he's good there. He's also, not a terrible super speedway racer if he can keep all 4 wheels on the ground. He's also pretty
Daytona,
good there.
which is the one that he flips at.
Mm-hmm. Shane Van Gisbergen, I would not say is a very good drafter, even though the broadcasts on occasion like to hype him up. They're like, he's really figuring out. I don't think he's a great drafter. He's kind of just winging it out there. Chastain, I think he needed to have a better night last night to do anything. Keselowski, I think he's done. Jones, I think he's done. Mm-hmm. So I'd say it's pretty much, I would say Ryan Preece or nothing at this point, but you never really know.
I was kind of the saying, I honestly don't think there's going to be any movement. I think these are the 16 people. I actually would say if I had to pick over the 2, I would say potentially Chastain could maybe point his way in if he could get a top 5 at both tracks. I mean, when you and I went to Talladega, he won, but since then, I don't really see him as much of a great drafting track racer.
No.
So again, I honestly don't see a lot of movement unless, Keselowski can somehow get a win and gets a good finish at New Hampshire. I think he's out, and Jones, like you said, I think is out.
Yeah, well, Chastain thing, he even said himself on that one YouTube video where the drivers guessed their NASCAR 25 ratings in the game. He saw his super speedway, and he's like, wow, I'd put me lower. Usually I don't finish. And he said usually him and Larson are in the care center together. Yep. I remember that very vividly. So, yeah, I don't expect to see movement from him, but... I'm
surprised there's a couple people not more locked in. I mean, the obvious one is Kyle Larson. We're 2 races out. Kyle Larson's not locked into the chase. Logano obviously is pushing his way up, so he's pretty much a lock in. But, with 2 wins. And then Hocevar's really been falling in the points lately. He got down to 11th. Like I said, he apparently stalled on the track, and then I don't know if he couldn't get it going or what, but he's fallen down to 11th in points. And then William Byron, 12th in points.
Slick Bill's been horrible.
Yeah, he's just been either terrible or, okay. I think there was 1 race this year where I think he was, maybe contending for the win, and then he didn't end up winning, but...
Yeah. Yep. Ready
right,
for off track?
I'm ready for off track.
Okay, you want to go first or you want me to go first? I have quite a few.
Well, I'll go first because I think my stuff's all boring.
Okay.
Las Vegas 2027 dates, March 20th for O'Reilly, March 21st for Cup, October 9th for O'Reilly, October 10th for Cup, no truck racing for either weekend. 2027 Darlington dates, April 2nd for trucks, April 3rd for O'Reilly, April 4th for Cup, fall dates, September 4th for O'Reilly, September 5th for Cup. 2027 Martinsville dates, April 17th for O'Reilly, April 18th for Cup, November 5th for trucks, November 6th for O'Reilly, November 7th for Cup. All-Star Race will return to North Wilkesboro in 2027 on May 23rd. O'Reilly will have a race on Saturday the 22nd and Trucks Friday the 21st of that weekend. Dover 2027 dates will be May 15th for O'Reilly, 16th for Cup. Gateway announces their dates, August 21st for O'Reilly, August 22nd for Cup. And then Richmond announces their date, September 10th for O'Reilly, September 11th for Cup. That's all the track stuff. Only other things I have, Samantha Bush announced Ty Gibbs will run an M&M scheme to honor Kyle Busch at Bristol. It sounds like she will be there at the track. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a microphone thrown in her face. Not necessarily. If she's okay to do it, that's one thing. I just hope that NASCAR asks her. Mm-hmm. But there's that. So that'll be a nice way to honor Kyle Busch because he always liked racing at Bristol. Noah Gragson, this is probably the big news of the week. Noah Gragson to remain with Front Row Motorsports in the 4-car in 2027. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's been horrible. Probably one of the worst drivers in the field all year.
He did get a top 20 finish yesterday. But yes.
Yeah. You know who else we celebrate getting top 20 finishes? Cole Custer. Yeah. I think it's interesting. I feel for Lane Riggs. Because I think... And also, I don't know what that... I would pick probably Lane Riggs over Noah Gragson. I think he's just been more dominant in his series. And he's come from the truck series, which, we've seen translates a little better to Cup. But I'm puzzled. How about you?
I'm not necessarily... I think Noah Gragson is... This is probably like the last chance. He went with Legacy, and he got left for Legacy because of the incident, I believe.
Yep. And
then he got a second chance at Front Row, and not that Front Row has great races, but some races they're good, and most races they're bad. So I do feel for Noah Gragson because he's not in the top equipment, and he's even been open about it, but you gotta just outperform your equipment a little bit, and so I think this might be the last chance, and then after that, he could get back down to O'Reilly or something like Front Row is probably getting close to that bottom of the NASCAR team rankings, right at the bottom. Wood Brothers is under them and Rick Ware Racing, but after that, it's either
them or Haas.
Yeah, or you go back to O'Reilly or Truck. So I think this is the last chance. I think that he needs to prove himself, so we'll see. Last thing I have is Rockingham. I guess I did have one more schedule thing. Rockingham won't be on the schedule in 2027 for any series.
I do wonder, actually, getting back to, is if Noah Gragson is thankful that he didn't punch Kevin Magnussen in the face saying that he's fighting for his ride. Well, he's got it now. Mm-hmm. That's all you got?
That's all I got, all you.
Here we go. Denny Hamlin said on his podcast that he told NASCAR officials that he might not run at Iowa because of his brakes, and he was viewing it as a safety issue. And he said that officials said that they would make up a penalty worse than just pitting to change them, which I think is pretty crazy. Officials just tell him, we'll make up a penalty, so you better race. That's pretty crazy. This is not really confirmed, so I probably really shouldn't even talk about it, but rumors swirling that Sammy Smith and Sam Mayer could do a ride swap next year. I saw that Mayer could be back at Junior Motorsports, and Sammy Smith could go to Haas factory team. Obviously, there's nothing concrete yet, so we'll keep an eye on it, but just know we broke it, if it happened.
Never heard that rumor once, finding it out live on the podcast.
Here we go. Another small team that you lose a little bit of respect for, Jordan Anderson Racing hires Daniel Dye to do 4 races starting at Daytona in the O'Reilly Series. Cringe. Let's see. Michael McDowell says that he plans to retire once Tristan McGee is ready for Cup. McGee made his truck debut this past weekend. I don't know how to say his last name. I didn't watch the truck race, but interesting. Michael McDowell has a plan in motion for him to be...
So he's been outspoken about that before, but I think it was more or less who's going to be... Is Spire going to keep McDowell that long? Because McKee's really young. Mm-hmm. So is Spire going to keep McDowell in that seat until then, or find someone that's, running a little bit better than McDowell hire someone else. So I've heard McDowell say that. It's just whether or not he can keep his ride.
Opportunity, yeah. Yeah, we'll see for that one. Let's see. I got two more. Actually, I got three more things. One Lap to Go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Better don't get used to it, folks, because that is over after this year. NASCAR is now partnering with Avant Forward for 2027. That's a credit card company. So there will no longer be One Lap to Go sponsored by Credit One Bank after this year. So enjoy it while it lasts. Let's see. Talladega ARCA winner Andy Jankowiak will attempt to run Daytona in the O'Reilly Series. Obviously, he won. That was the one that Cleus McFarland almost won, but he didn't win it. I believe he's the pizza man, right? Pizza delivery man. That's him. Andy Jankowiak. So, good for him. And I have only one more thing. And this one was kind of stupid. I saw it, and this is kind of our ding-dong of the week. It's posted on Reddit, and it said, what does the next generation of NASCAR team ownership look like? And they have Roger Penske, Joe Gibbs, Richard Childress, and Rick Hendrick. And I thought it was the silliest thing that I've ever seen, because three of them have very obvious succession plans. Yeah. And one of them is, like, fairly obvious. And so I want to know your take on that. They're like, oh yeah, these guys are old as dirt. Also has their ages on here, and they're all old as dirt.
So Hendrick's Jeff Gordon.
Yes.
Richard Childress is Austin Dillon.
Yep.
Potentially Ty Dillon. I don't really know about that. Joe Gibbs is Heather Gibbs and Ty Gibbs.
Yep.
And then who's the other one? Roger Penske.
Roger Penske. I imagine it's Tim Cindric. He has his job back. One of the stupidest things I've ever read, and I just thought I had to bring it up here on the podcast, because what do you mean, what does the next generation look like? Because they all have very clear succession plans. And that was it. I just want to point that out, because that was stupid.
Well, that's it on my end.
That is it on my end.
We're going to New Hampshire, but watching it from the couch.
Hopefully we can stay awake.
It's a Sunday race at like 3 o'clock.
It's probably going to be boring. It's New Hampshire.
There's always rain there.
Yeah, if Cindric has a good car, it'll be very entertaining. Obviously, I know the Cindric fans out there rooting for him, just like me. This is a big weekend for us.
Well, he's got a new luck on his hand. His new, what is it, rabbit's foot, four-leaf clover, whatever. Austin Cindric grew his hair back.
This is true. It was a bit of a jump scare when I saw that this week. You're like, whoa!
Now we know how Hannah Montana went unseen and no one knew it was Miley Stewart. Now, Austin Cindric grew his hair back. We didn't know it was Austin Cindric. Who is that?
Yeah, no idea.
The Hannah Montana jump scare of the generation.
Yeah. It's like when Austin Hill had like a haircut and he wasn't like buzzed. And I was like, what's going on here? I'm not used to this. Well, folks, we'll be back next week. Hopefully it'll be a Monday posting of the podcast next week. And we'll see you after New Hampshire. If you liked the video, throw it a like. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. And we shall see you pretty soon. Bye-bye.